Hello, this is Terry from Fabric Junction in Sturgis, South Dakota. Today we're going to make an easy little girl skirt. This is a great skirt for any little girl from the age of about 2 to 6. What you need to do is measure your little girl for the length of skirt that you want to be finished. And then add 3 inches. The 3 inches then are for the hem and the casing. Once you have your piece of fabric cut, and it's cut selvage to selvage, because you can see I still have my selvages on. I tend not to cut my selvages off because I like the fact that when the skirt is done, it's not going to unravel. But you go to the ironing board, take a tape, a measure of any kind, and I measure the 1.5 inches first, and I press it. Then I come back and I fold it under and I remeasure for 1 inch, and I press that. The pressing will keep it in place so I don't have to pin it. Once I have done both sides, I go to my sewing machine and I'm going to sew the selvage. So I open it up, and I'm going to take a nice wide seam because I want to make sure that I'm way past any of the markings on the selvage. So it might be a 5/8 seam, it might be a 1 inch seam, whatever it takes, just so that none of the selvage is showing through when I open it up. When I'm done, I go back to my ironing board and I press that seam open. And I'd be very careful that I don't press a lot of my other pressing marks because I want to keep those in place. But I want to make sure this gets pressed nice and open. Then I go and I fold this back up using my pressing marks. Get it folded and press it. And the other side. Now, one of the things I want to remind you, depending on the fabric you're using, if you are using 100% cotton, make sure you pre-launder them because cotton will shrink a little bit, and anytime you're making a garment using cotton, you do want to pre-launder it because you won't want your garment to shrink on you after it's all sewn. When I'm done pressing, I go to my machine and I start sewing. In this case, this will be my hem. I line it up and I just stitch because it's going to lay down. I stitch right close to that edge all the way around. I overlap my stitching just a little bit, I cut it, I take it off the machine, and now I'm ready to do the casing side. Again, this time I like to start just past that big bulky spot and stitch. Okay, as you see, I just stuck my finger in there to see how far I had to go. I need to leave about a 2 to 3 inch opening so that we can insert the elastic. Cut the elastic the size of the child's waist, that exact number. Once you have it cut, I like to use great big safety pins, and I put one on each end. Too many times I've put elastic in and I've pulled it out, and if I didn't have a safety pin on the other end, I had to start over. Plus, I put them on the same side. So that way I'm pretty sure once I've got it in there, I know I can overlap those that it didn't get twisted. So we go to that opening, slip it in there, work past the little fold. Sometimes it gets stuck. There it goes. So put your elastic in your casing. We just continue all the way around, and it'll start to bunch up, and that's okay, because all we want to do is just get the elastic all the way in there. And once you get to the opening, you can give it a nice tug so that you get as much out of there as you can. And now you have both ends of your elastic, and you know which end is the same, so you can turn them to make sure. Then I hold them on top of each other the way I want them to go as I take my pins out to make sure they don't shift. And I like to overlap an inch or so. There's plenty of stretch in there. This won't fit that tight. Go to your machine and start stitching back and forth. Sometimes right now I'm using a zigzag because I like the way the zigzag holds the elastic. And I just go back and forth a few times. Doesn't have to look real pretty. Nobody's going to see it once it's inside the casing. And I don't undo it too much because I want this still to lay flat, but I work the casing on the inside. If you need to put a size tag or somebody's name, take a little scrap, and this is a good time to slip that in there, that you can put the little girl's name on it or her size if you so choose. Go back to your machine, and we are going to sew that little section closed. You get the section closed, spread it out all the way around, let the elastic go even all the way around, and I stretch it a couple times to make sure that the elastic and everything is going even. Turn it right side out, and now you have your easy skirt for that 2 to 6 year old. Check out our children's fabrics at junctionfabric.com, and hopefully you enjoy making this easy little girl skirt.